Hey everybody, welcome back to Shaman Talk with Tegan. Tarot with Tegan is where you will find me on Instagram and Facebook. I have another guest today. Her name is Dawn, and she's a Reiki practitioner. So, Dawn, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm just trying to kind of build this up so we can have like all different walks of life on here, doing different things, doing similar things. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say today. So let's kind of start off. I feel like Reiki is becoming a little more accepted and like more and more people have like heard of Reiki. But what is your kind of definition or explanation of what Reiki does or what Reiki is?
So, Reiki is just another form of a healing modality. Um, Energy is how it's transferred. We are energetic beings. And through Reiki, we target the nervous system, which is connected through the chakras. And we open those chakras up. We send a nice calming effect into the nervous system so that the body can naturally heal itself.
Amazing. Yes. And I feel like besides the literal healing it does in ways is similar to what I do with the illumination, but it's also like this sense of like a lot of people just don't know how to find a calm space for their bodies, for their minds. And I feel like the type of energy work we
Yeah.
do, it's like that's half the battle sometimes. It's like getting people to just kind of
Well,
relax, like truly relax. Do you kind of agree?
oh, definitely agree. It's only a small portion. You have to do shadow work, is what some describe it as. So when you take both, you have to take both ends of it. You know, you've got, yes, you have Reiki that can calm you down and bring you centered again, but you still have work to do on the healing aspect of your traumas and your triggers. And so you do have to find that balance, but we are just here to kind of help along that process to try and transform the world into, every human being into their natural state of what we're supposed to be, our souls.
Yes, for sure. And actually, in the last video that I posted with my mentor, we kind of said the same thing where it's like, we're here, us practitioners, just to help people, to help in any way we can so that they can do more healing, that they can do the, hard work sometimes that needs to be done.
Yes,
Um,
and it is hard
so
work.
I, yes, there are times where it really is like, holy moly, what is happening?
Hmm.
um,
Oh yeah, it's not fun by any means.
but definitely necessary. And I, at least from my perspective of like the deep healing I have done, it's just you literally feel different on all levels, or you at least start to.
Yes, there are many different levels of the healing process. It's in the beginning of mine, uh, which was probably about 3 years ago. I
Mhm.
was a mess. Day in, day out, it was every week, it was something new, something different. But I just kept working through it. And along that, I just kept having healing sessions with you. Um, thank you. And
Uh-huh.
along that way, I just was able to get myself to a more happier state to where as each time it kept going, it was easier and easier.
Okay, that's amazing to hear. And like, do you think when at what point did you feel like, oh, like I want to become a practitioner? And was it always down the road of Reiki, or did you just kind of know you just wanted to do something in that arena?
Again, going back to the beginning, when I was, I'll just say it, my desperate state, I went and saw an energy healer myself. Didn't know what I was going into. I just literally was like, I'm here and I just need help. And that's when I learned a lot about myself in the way of not only that I had work I needed to do to heal myself, but also learning spiritual gifts that I possess. And it was from that day forward, I was like, I think I finally know what my purpose is. I've been searching my whole life and not having any answers. But when everything was brought to light, I was like, hands down, this I think is, I finally found what my soul was meant to do.
That's amazing, and that's such an amazing feeling to kind of feel like you found your purpose or at least part of your purpose, and I definitely
Hmm.
remember kind of that time in my life where I felt the same way, where it was like, "Oh, when I started like my shamanic training, I was kind of like, after a while, anyways, of doing all the hard work, right? But I'm like, oh, I think I'm meant to be like doing this and helping people with it and just,
Right.
helping people grow while I'm growing and learning and things like that. But I will say there is still this aspect, at least with what we do, because it's still not 100% like not everyone is on board. You know what I mean? Um,
No.
so there are still struggles, even though I know my purpose or at least part of it. It's like, well, that's doesn't mean that's the end and everything's hunky dory. There's still things that, hurdles that need to be jumped and things like that. But when you do kind of find that purpose, you're kind of like, oh, like it's a bit of a like relief, like an exhale, like oh, you can almost catch your breath a little bit.
Oh, definitely. There definitely was. It was it was a struggle getting here for sure, but when hearing Melissa was her name, that had done my first session and explained everything to me, I was just so enlightened at that time. Like, wow, all this time I felt like I was alone and just didn't know up from down, left to right, and why I was here, what I was meant to do, and
No,
now
that's amazing.
I'm finding it, and I'm still finding it. Things are
Good.
changing as I'm growing, and that's to happen. And but we just keep
Yeah,
plugging through it.
exactly. And that's also kind of an exciting part, I feel like, where it's like you're doing the thing you want to do, right? But also at times your own gifts kind of start to evolve, and then you almost like are like, whoa, what is going on here? And like, how do I integrate this?
Oh
Or
yeah,
maybe I don't integrate this right now. This is a personal thing. So it's always, also something to look forward to. I feel like, becoming either
oh
more sensitive or opening up in different ways. So it's always changing and evolving, but it can be very
yeah.
exciting as well.
Yes, yes. As time has gone on, more and more, my gifts are strengthening. I'll just
Okay.
say, for the lack of a better word, scary and exciting all at the same time. I actually have been finding myself, I almost get depressed if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. The learning, the healing, the growing, the coming into my own, and not helping others. I literally feel myself get saddened and feeling like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Help me here.
Yes.
Like somebody come along
Mhm.
so I can, share this with you. And
Yes, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but I've really had to learn literally like recently even that everything comes in cycles and like that's just life, part of life and part of what we do. And
yep,
I know that I sometimes there's a cycle that comes through where I don't have a lot of clients. And like you said, like sometimes it is almost like, oh, I feel like I should be helping more people. What's going on? But then I always do have to pause and be like, okay, what is going on? Sometimes it's just what it is. They're cycling through. But sometimes I've noticed for me, anyways, there's something coming up that I need to deal with personally on the healing level. And so it's kind of like the
yes,
universe or my guides or who or whatever. It's like, they're saying, okay, nope, you need to pause. And until you figure this out, like you're not going to be spending all your energy on other people. So it's also making sure that I'm still healing myself, that I'm still doing like my practices that I need to do in order to stay grounded and connected and things like that.
exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. I know exactly what you're referring to. Going through that same motion. And just before I had my last session with you, I was kind of going through that lull. And
Mm-hmm.
so then we connected and you cleared my energies. And I call it like leveling up, level up one.
Oh,
And a shift happened again. And it's like I'm like starting to catch that more and more, and I'm journaling, and journaling is a really good thing to do. And don't always do it like I should, but I do it, and
yeah.
you could start to see that little ebb and flow of you got your ups, you got your downs, you got your ups, you got your downs, and be grateful for those ups and downs because there's something over that horizon that is coming for you that you may not know at that time, but when it happens, then you're like, oh, now I understand it.
Yes,
And then you're
that's
like,
what that
thank
was
you. This
for.
is so cool.
Right? Even still, I sometimes catch myself having to be like, "Oh, wait, that all connects now." Even though I know, like, oh, it's all gonna connect some in some way at some point, but sometimes it takes that moment to be like, "Oh yeah," like as long as you're doing like working from your heart center, like things will
Yes.
pan out. It's not always how you think it's gonna happen or when, but it will. Like your guides, the universe, God, whatever you want to call everything, like there's always a reason and there's always like kind of a grander plan at play, and it can be hard
Oh,
to trust that,
definitely.
especially of
Definitely.
some of us who are a little bit like still in the beginning of our journey. It's like holy moly, I need to take a step back and really, and that's when I was just saying about like remembering my own practices, remembering like everything to keep me centered, because then if I'm not fully centered and I'm trying to help other people, like it's just not as good for me, because then my
Right.
energy's just all over the place and I need to be
Yes.
as like centered as possible to be as helpful as possible.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I have found uh, before doing a session, I'll just call it a little ritual that I do for myself for protection, as well as, like you said, centering yourself so that you can put your 100% into your client because it's easy for the outside world and the distractions to come into play and will say distract you. So you definitely, have to keep yourself focused so that the magic can begin.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And like I always kind of say like, "Oh, like I have to focus on my third dimensional things going on right now and not everything else." And it for me anyways, just cuz of my circumstances, like it almost feels sometimes like a little bit of like whiplash where it's like either I'm just, have a ton of clients and I'm just kind of in that leveled up, like you said, zone of doing sessions, or sometimes I just go through periods where I am channeling a lot of information just in general, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden it's like boom, like my daughter's like crying, or you know what I mean, like it's just like oh my gosh, like I'm channeling all this stuff, got all this stuff, but I also have a child and I also have like a side job that I do besides my tarot and things,
Right.
so the third dimension calls and you still have things you gotta go still do the laundry and the dishes.
Right. Yeah. You have many different, we'll say, worlds that you're dealing with in one day, where it's not
Mhm.
like my life used to be, where it was you get up, you get dressed, you go to work, and you deal with your problems. Well, now it's you get up, you get dressed, you go to work, you're you're dealing with the human end, and then you're dealing with the spiritual end, and you're dealing with your guides and getting messages. So it's like you're here, you're there, you're everywhere.
Yes. Yep.
But
Yep.
definitely
And
a lot of fun in the midst.
yes, it's a lot of balancing at times, but totally like we were saying before, like worth it. And I wouldn't have it any other way at this point. But yeah, some once in a while it's like, whew, okay, I really need to focus on third dimensional things. Or sometimes it's like, oh, I get stuck in the third dimensional everyday things where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have not journeyed in a long time, or I have not meditated in a long time. I need to connect back. So, for those who might be watching who don't know a ton about Reiki, all I know is that there are like different levels. I have a level one certification that I did a long time ago before all my shaman stuff. So, can you just briefly
Mhm.
explain the different levels and what level you are?
Sure, sure. I am, well, which is interesting, is there are different forms of Reiki. There's
Okay.
the traditional Usui, and I believe they go up to level 3. There's Holy Fire, which is what I am. And I think it just depends on who is your teacher, because I'm level 3, but I could make it a level 4 and switch it to where I can be what they consider, I'm a master practitioner, but I can make it where I can be a master teacher as well.
Oh,
I just literally have to take this other course and learn the techniques to teach somebody, and then I just get another certification. But as far as my levels for practicing, I am at the highest level that they have, which would be a level 3.
okay. And so, what's like a little bit of the differences between like a level one and a level three?
A level 1 is, we'll just consider like your beginning stages, where you're still just learning the fundamentals, and how it is transmuted to the client. They don't let you, when they instill the ignitions onto you, which I'm not sure if you're even maybe familiar with
A
that
little bit.
term. They have what your, like your dicomio and shokure. There are just certain, we'll say, power skills that are
Okay.
implemented at that time. When they start you out, because you have to integrate this energy and become one with it, they don't want you practicing right off the bat. So you'll start level 1, you'll get introduced into the energy, and certain placements are put on at that time. And then you can maybe practice on, say, maybe like an animal, but they
Hmm.
don't recommend humans until you get to at least level 2, and you've completed that, and you integrate that energy as well. Because as you're growing and doing each level, one, as the practitioner, our body has to go through a change as well. So you don't want that energy coming in too strong and too fast, because it literally is an overload and can hurt you yourself. It can
Okay.
create so many different ailments within one's own self, whether it's digestion issues or such, sleep deprivation, and I mean, there's like so many different things because it messes with you. So they don't want you to really practice until you at least have completed level 2.
Okay.
And level 3 is just getting that final ignition on, where you are at the highest level at that point. Dicomio is what they considered the master symbol. That one supersedes all the other symbols that are ignited into you. And that's where you are reaching your highest point of energy that is coming through from source, God, whomever, however you want to,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call them.
Right.
But when it's coming through, that is at its strongest and its highest. And at that point, that is when you are really truly ready to treat, and work with clients at that point. And then usually then it's already starting, the energy is already starting to kind of settle down more within yourself, so that you can handle what is coming. Because aside from Reiki, I'm also a clairsentient. So I
Okay.
feel energy. So I've got not only energy from people that I'm feeling, whether they're sad or angry or anxious. But then I'm also receiving the energy from source. So it's like I'm just like absorbing, absorbing, absorbing. So it's like they also want to make sure that you are level enough, to be able to withstand everything that's going to come your way.
Yes, and that it can be a lot, and I even if you don't have like you're not clairsentient or whatever, it's like the more you open up into like these things, yes, the more you start to just sense more, feel more, and I totally get what you're saying where it's like if you're not totally ready yet, like that can be overwhelming. And so like
Oh,
sounds
yes.
like it's kind of just helping prepare you for what could possibly come your way. Cause yeah, once you're kind of opened up, it's like then it is what it is, and whatever comes through, or however you decide or kind of subconsciously decide to channel things, that's a whole different thing that
Right.
can come about. And it can be
Right.
surprising sometimes.
Oh, it is. It is still even to this day. Not so much even on the Reiki end, but more of on like the clairsentient end, because I'm still learning how to manipulate that energy and learn
Uh-huh.
it. So it's still like when I tie everything in, I'm still like a roller coaster sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like on my end, there's been a lot of, for me, the third dimensional stuff going on lately, so I haven't been quite as connected as I normally am. I mean, you're always connected, of course, but
Right.
I've started to come like hear more, like not literally like someone speaking in my ear, but in my mind's eye, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm
Yes, I
hearing a
have
lot more
two
stuff.
lately.
Okay, yeah. So it's like trying to deal with that. And also it sometimes it comes at night. So I'm also like, okay, who was that? Is someone actually in here? Who's trying to talk to me? Like, and sometimes
Yes.
it's like, oh my God, just let me sleep.
Yes, I had that actually just 2 nights ago. Over the last couple of months, I have been noticing where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it's usually around the same duration, and I have this buzzing in my
Hmm.
head. Sometimes it's throughout my torso as well. And I have learned that I think it's just source trying to communicate with me, give me what they call like a download. So, what I've learned to do is not only ask for them to tone the energy down so I can go back to sleep, but to also receive the message of what they're trying to tell me. And it just, like I said, just happened again 2 days ago. So then you know, I just talked to the universe and asked, okay, and now I need to know what is it you're trying to tell me? What was it that was in that message? And it doesn't always tell me right away, and it tells me when you least expect it. Because I think it came to me this morning while I
Oh,
was in the shower, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I was
I
like,
swear
ding.
the shower is like a big place for me too. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like because your body's like relaxed in there or what it is, but same thing. I'll often get like messages or downloads while I'm standing there in the shower and I'm like, okay, like it's
Yeah.
happening right now.
Yes, yes. And you were saying like the auditory part, I have that too. And I'll wake up sometimes and just like a little sentence of a song will
Okay.
come to me out of nowhere.
Mhm.
And it'll be a
Same.
song that I haven't heard in months. And then all of a sudden, there it is. And I'm like, okay, now I got to figure out why that was sent to me.
Well, and that's the big thing too, right? For anyone who out there who is like sensitive in any way like us, where it's like half the time it's literally like, what does this mean? And then it's a whole nother thing to try and figure it out. It's rare that spirit comes in and just directly says something sometimes, but not often. Usually it's more like, all right, well, now I have this to figure out too.
Yes, yes, yes. I definitely always just ask them, though, speak clearly.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I feel like you do have that kind of, right to be like, "Hey, I don't understand. Can you please be clearer? Or can you please send a message in this specific way?" And unless it's some kind of extreme situation, usually
Right.
they will help you or they will try and do it a different way, because there's a reason you're
Yes,
getting these messages and they want you to know. They're not trying to keep these secrets from you, they're not trying to drive you crazy, but they'll help you.
right.
So Do you feel when you tell people kind of what you do with the Reiki, do you over like in general, do you get like a positive response, do you feel, to explaining what you do?
Um, the majority, I would say, it's all has been positive for sure. I think we only had one situation where it brought out some discomfort, like physical discomfort from one of the clients, but she had
Okay.
previously had surgery just before.
Mm.
So I do forewarn that if there's something that isn't supposed to be there, it's going to come out. So be prepared. But otherwise, yes, I have had a lot of positive response, and it's all so heartfelt, and it makes me feel good on
Yeah.
my end, knowing that I can help anybody at whatever they may be going through with one of my sessions. Sometimes I get insight that I pass along. Today actually was I had one just before coming on with you, and it was really this was the first time that I had a session where I was directed to pass along a message that this lady, it was a female, that she is on embarking on her spiritual path, and
Mm.
I was actually being a part of preparing her body because it was
Ah.
having me. Once I went through the chakras, it was directing me to other parts, and another part was her hands. So I went and I held her hands in my hands and passing the energy along and clearing that way. And the words clairsentient came to me as well. But it also kept directing me to her third eye and her crown, and then talking with her afterwards and her sharing some information, it kind of everything lined up. And I said, you're you're being called to find your truth spiritually, and there is something that is in the works for you. And I really feel that today's session was a preparation for that, kind of like what happened to me 3 years ago. You're walking around aimlessly wondering, what in the world am I doing? And I got to do this, and I need to heal from this. And what's my purpose?
Mhm.
And a part of, like I said, with that session, I believe that that is what was happening with her today. It was the beginning of her actual spiritual journey, and I was cleansing her body for her to be able to receive what is coming. And then I had asked her afterwards, I'm like, it directed me towards your hands, and I could feel the pulsation. And I said the words came to me of pathway, like I'm clearing the pathway.
Mm.
And I had asked her, I said, do you feel people's energies? Like literally touch something and can feel their energy. And she said, yeah, I can. And I said, well, that's why I was instructed, I think, to probably clear away your hands as well. I said, because we have chakras in our palms. And
Mhm.
so I said, maybe they needed to be opened up for you to receive now. And I said, but there's something special with today's session. Out of all sessions that I had done, today was
Yeah,
definitely a beginning for
that's
someone's
amazing.
path. Yeah,
Yeah. I
it is
feel
really,
like
really cool.
yeah, and I feel like of course not all the time, but oftentimes when people feel called to come to like us and others who do similar things, it's because they are either already embarking on the journey or they need to start. Because I've kind of found that too,
Yeah,
where it's like either someone's at their almost lowest and they're like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm coming to you. And it's like, okay, well, this is going to be like probably the first step into what actually needs to be done, the healing that needs to be done. Or some people are already on that journey, but they're almost, because there's different forks in the road at different parts of your journey. And they're like, I don't know where to go now, or I'm not sure what's going on. So it's another kind of push to
right.
the right direction.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
It's all amazing, and it's just interesting just to see what happens, because both of us, I feel like we're, in similar timelines of, like, me, it was about I had your, like, sparking experience about, I think, f 4 3 or 4 years ago, but I feel like our timelines are kinda similar, where it's just been a couple of years, like, actually doing what we're doing, so it's just gonna grow, and it's gonna change, and we're gonna see so many more people and so many more stories, and, it's gonna be
Yes,
great, and yeah, I'm just
yes,
excited to help people, like I'm sure you are.
yes. Oh, definitely, definitely. And I have seen an uprise in articles like on, on the computer, and you have like NBC, the little news clippings that come about. And I can't tell you how many times I have seen articles on there of Reiki, or
Mhm.
just other forms of healing modalities. Sound bath is another one that's coming out there. I've just joined in collaboration with a sound bath healer, and so her and I do sessions together side by side, and
Oh,
that
okay.
is yeah, it's really really cool. The having both at one time is such a strong. I would love it if I could find someone that can actually give it to myself so that I can experience it. I've had a sound bath, and then I have, like I said, sessions that's through you and other, forms of healing sessions too, but I've never had both together. And I think that
Interesting.
that would
Wow.
be the most, oh,
I
so relaxing. We
Yeah,
have
I would love
clients that
to do
they fall asleep on the table.
I bet that I would love to do something like that, and I have never actually done a sound bath. I Every time I've tried in the past couple months, something always comes up, so that is, like, one of my goals. I need to go experience a sound bath.
Yes, having the different vibrations and the energy going through you. My hands give heat because I'm
Mm,
holy fire, and so I mean, it's like you're getting so many different, a couple different things coming at you at one time. That I have, like I said, I've had so many clients just they'll they'll say I don't want to get up off the table, or they'll just say, oh my gosh, you hit spots that I didn't even say were hurting, and you managed to find them, and then you have the vibrations from the sound bath going through you as well. And which is really kind of cool is because as I am doing a session and Lori is doing the sound, I feel it through me. So I'm
mm,
getting a twofold. I'm getting a healing session as well as me passing along. But it is just, you just feel it going through your body and just opening you up and releasing and relaxing. And I really, really do hope and I pray that all of us as healers become so well known that people start waking up to that idea and are more receptive, and to know that they don't have to suffer anymore. And I'm not knocking the Western medicine by any means, because I've had my fair share in the past of being on, medications for anxiety and depression, and, done the whole therapy. And it's not that those don't work, but there's something more there in what the spiritual end has to offer from the healing of the soul's point. And that's
mhm.
I just hope, just pray that more and more people become open to it, and receptive to wanting to heal in that fashion, because it is just so enlightening in itself to feel that love that comes
Mhm.
from that, and to know that it's not in the pill form, and it really kind of just resides in ourselves. It's just
Yes.
finding it and bringing
Mhm.
it out. And
And I feel
it
like
is
that's kind
just
of the main message of anyone who works like this, or even anyone who's just on a spiritual journey themselves and maybe doesn't do what we do, but, like, in the end, it comes back to you and who you are and your own connection to yourself, your own connection to the divine. It comes back
Right.
down to you as an individual. And so, like you said, there are so many different modalities. Like, you don't have to live with, I always hear a lot of people be like, oh, yeah, I just have general anxiety or chronic anxiety. And like you said, I'm not knocking Western medicine, modern medicine, anything that helps anyone. But it is like things like that. It's like that doesn't have to be that way, you know? Like, there are other options. And yes, energy work is definitely one of them. Whatever modality works for you, try them all, see what helps you the best. And it brings a sense of peace and more comfort, and it just helps at least to get rid of some of the fear that a lot of these anxieties people have stems from, and I feel like sometimes it's
Exactly.
just acknowledging that as well, where it's like people don't want to dig too deep into where it's coming from because that can be very difficult.
It is.
um yeah, so do listen to your own body, listen to your own mind, what you feel is best for you. But I think that's slowly changing, or more and more people are accepting of energy work or are more open minded to it. And so I just feel like the pinnacle would be this combination of the Western medicine side and the energy side. And that I had a doctor on
Mhm.
here actually in my first interview that I did on here. And she is a naturopath. So, where she tries to avoid things like that and helps people try and get to where they want to be without medication as much as possible. And so, it's people like
Right.
that I meet where I'm like, oh, the steps are being taken. We are slowly getting there. And so I think it
Mhm.
can be the future. It's
Oh,
possible.
definitely. Definitely. During me personally, that's exactly the route that I went. Like I said, I did the whole medications and the therapies and so forth. But this time around, when I embarked on, I'll just say, a new journey, but not really a new journey because I think I was already in it. It's just where it was at that point.
Sure.
I was able to do all of this without medication. And I just did a lot of, like I said, I've had sessions with you. I've had sessions with Catherine, who is the teacher of my Holy Fire,
Hmm.
who she has actually discovered over a year ago that she is Andromedan. And
Mm.
that was really rather cool, experiencing, actually seeing them for myself and feeling
Hmm.
their love. Yeah, that was, I was like, please bring me back there. It was
Yeah, I
really,
think
really
we've all had that where we're like, oh, I have to be back here now. Darn it.
right. Yeah, it was the greatest. But yes, so I mean, with all of those, I managed to get to where I'm at today without medication and overcoming a lot of my anxieties and depressions and healing from past traumas and so forth. And but everyone has to find their own way. Everyone is
Right.
different. So
Hmm.
definitely, but we're here for them,
Yep.
and we're just waiting.
Yeah, we're here waiting in the wings. Whoever feels called, do it. Um, so for anyone who is listening who wants to get a hold of you, whether they have questions, whether they want to do a session with you, what is the best way to kind of get a hold of you?
Well, I do have a website. It's divineharmonybydawn.com. Or you can even shoot me a text message. Is it okay if I give my cell
Oh, if you
number?
want to,
Um,
yeah. If you don't want
sure. I
to,
mean, it's
I
my
can
main
also.
number,
Yeah. Okay.
but it's 815-271-0517.
Perfect. And then, like I said in my last video, if for some reason you watch this and forget to write all this info down, but you follow me on any social media or have my number, I can always pass her info along as well. Well, thank you so much for being here and for taking the
Thank you.
time. And I
Yes,
think
thank
we'll
you so
have,
much. I appreciate it.
yeah, we'll have to have you on again. I say that to everybody, but I literally mean it when I say it because I feel like there's just so many topics to cover and things
Oh,
like that.
yes.
But yes, we got a good intro here to like Reiki and everything that you do. And so hopefully the next time too, I'll be able to. I've had a sound bath and we can kind of talk about that more.
Yeah, no, I would. I really enjoyed this very much. So, spreading that word, getting it out there, is the only way that we're going to be able to heal as a collective.
Hmm.
And so I thank you very much, and I look forward to hopefully being able to be on again. I know there are so many other different subjects, whether it's on the Reiki and the spiritual end. What did you experience along your way? Because we've all experienced some pretty. Some would probably think you're nuts
Yeah.
in the
Oh yeah.
way of what you've experienced. I admit I was one of those at one point years ago, but now that I'm going through it, I'm like, holy cow, did that really seriously just happen?
Oh yeah, I will say that like I think about me a couple years ago, even like 10 years ago, and the things I have seen and heard and experienced or others experiences, I would have been like, these people are like actually crazy. But now I'm like, whoo, okay. No, I'm
Right.
just was not open to that at all. And now that I am, it's like, holy crap. uh
Yes.
Great. But
Okay.
it's all for the better, everyone. Don't worry about us. We've got it handled, mostly at least. All right. Well, thank you
Anything
again.
else? No,
And what was that?
great. Thank you so much.
Yes, and we will talk again soon. And again, anyone who would like to work with Dawn or just has questions for Dawn, I will post some of her info when I post this. Otherwise, you can get a hold of me as well, and we can work it out. Thanks again, and
Great.
I will talk
Thank
to you
you.
soon.
All right. Have a good day.